I opened my late mother's locked box, and found a second birth certificate. My mother passed away 3 months ago, and I thought the hardest part was already behind me. The funeral was over, the relatives had gone home, and life was slowly returning to normal. One rainy Saturday afternoon, I decided to clean out the attic of the house where I grew up. Tucked away behind old photo albums and dusty boxes, I found a small wooden chest with a brass lock on it. I had never seen it before. The strange thing was that my name was written on a faded label attached to the handle. My heart started racing. My mother had never mentioned this box, and something told me that whatever was inside had been hidden for a reason. When I finally forced it open, I found documents that completely shattered everything I believed about my life. Inside the box were dozens of old photographs, handwritten letters, and legal papers tied together with a ribbon. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then I noticed a folded birth certificate. I opened it expecting to see the same document I had seen many times before. Instead, I froze. The certificate had my full name and my exact birth date, but the names listed as my parents were completely different. I checked it again and again, convinced it had to be a mistake. It wasn't. The document looked authentic, complete with official stamps and signatures. My hands were shaking as questions flooded my mind. If these weren't my parents, then who were they? And why had my mother kept this hidden for so many years? The next few days became an obsession. I searched through every file in the house and contacted government offices to verify the document. To my surprise, it was real. When I confronted my aunt, she immediately became nervous and refused to answer my questions. She simply told me to leave the past alone. That response only made me more determined. Eventually, after several uncomfortable conversations, she admitted that my mother had not given birth to me. According to her, I had been brought into the family when I was only a few months old. She claimed my biological parents had died in a tragic accident and that my mother adopted me to give me a better life. It sounded believable, but something about her story didn't feel right. A week later, I discovered another letter hidden beneath the false bottom of the wooden chest. This letter was written by my mother herself and dated just a few months before her death. In it, she apologized for keeping a secret that she had carried for decades. She explained that my biological parents had not died at all. In fact, they had willingly given me away because they were involved in a dangerous situation that could have put my life at risk. She wrote that she had promised never to reveal their identities unless she was no longer alive. Attached to the letter was an address in a small town several states away and a note that simply read, "If you ever want the truth, start here." I drove to that town the following weekend, expecting answers but preparing for disappointment. Instead, I found an elderly couple living in a modest house at the end of a quiet street. The moment they saw me, they burst into tears. They recognized me instantly from old photographs they had kept all these years. Over the next several hours, they revealed a story far more complicated than I had imagined. They weren't my parents, they were my grandparents. My biological parents were still alive, and they had spent decades searching for a way to reconnect with me without breaking the agreement that had been made long ago. By the time I left that house, I realized my mother hadn't hidden the truth because she wanted to deceive me. She had done it because she believed she was protecting me. Yet one small wooden box had changed my entire identity forever and opened a chapter of my life I never knew existed.